right, folks, we have with us here today Frank DiMino, um, from the band Angel, of course, also just having released a brand new solo album out this year, 2025. So we have a lot to talk about with Frank, and it's been almost, 40 plus years since we talked to him last. I doubt he would even remember that, but where, where are you residing now? I know you're on the East Coast.
I'm on the East Coast, ready to do some shows, but where I'm living in Las Vegas right now.
Okay. But okay,
Yeah.
great, great. And that's right. You have shows coming right up tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow is a travel day. Thursday is our first show
Okay.
of this
Fantastic.
of this run. Yeah.
I've got some questions on that here. Um,
Sure.
so I've been listening to Old Habits Die Hard, the new album, quite a bit. And
Uh-huh.
I have to say my favorite track is Rockin' in the City. Uh, I just think that's an awesome track.
Oh, thank you.
But Mad as Hell, Never Again, The Rain, Even Now, The Quest, all those songs just completely rock. I never have high expectations on solo albums. You know how it goes. Some of them work
Yeah.
out, some of them don't. But in this
Yes.
case, you've just got a great sound. The production is great. The writing is
Uh-huh.
is fantastic, and the album rocks, just absolutely rocks.
Oh,
So
thank you.
it's been
Thank
fun.
you.
It's like
Yeah.
of course I'm gonna do my job and listen to the album, but it's been a fun listen. It's been like,
Oh,
okay,
thank you.
I'm digging
Yeah.
this. I'll
Yeah, I
continue to
appreciate it
listen.
because I agree. Solo albums are always. I never thought about doing a solo album because of the fact that it could go either way. But it had been a while since I had done anything um, in the studio as far as for myself, and I had a lot of material left. But when we approached this album, I decided to write with a couple of guys and do all new material instead of using any of the old material. I thought, if I'm going to approach this, let's approach it the right way, and we decided to write all the stuff for this particular album. And I also had the Meatloaf band do all the rhythm tracks, so to have a consistent sound through the whole thing. And then I had a lot of guests step in to play some guitar, which wasn't the plan, but it just kind of it organically went that way. And I thought, oh, well, when I was in the middle, I thought, well, this is working out okay. So yeah, I pursued a few other friends and stuff, and turned out with something that I felt a good product, and I hoped everyone would enjoy it.
Yeah, it definitely turned out that way to my ears, anyways. And you know, I can hear your voice just soaring on this thing as always. And I thought Even Now was just as good as anything that Stephen Perry's ever done, in my
Oh,
opinion.
thank you, thank
Um,
you.
and for me, if your work with Angel didn't prove you're one of the top rock vocalists of all time, I think this record seals the deal if enough people listen to it. I think it's great that you're still doing it. You're still out there creating rather than just falling back on the old stuff all the time. You're doing both.
Yeah,
But I just think
yeah,
it's, well, Angel's putting out new albums too, and we'll get to that as well.
yes.
So you guys are amazing at the age that you're at. Um, it's just quite amazing. So good job
Oh,
on
thank
it.
you. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
I still feel energized. I still love doing shows. I enjoy the interaction with the crowd, and it's always great to be able to create new stuff as well as play the old stuff. Because I know that when we do the Angel stuff shows, that people want to hear some of the old stuff. I mean, that's just the way it is, and I understand that. But we've been able to put some new tracks on there, new songs from the new albums, the two new albums that we've done. So that makes it invigorating for me.
yeah, and don't feel bad. I mean, as you know, every band goes through that. You have a legacy, so now you're putting out new albums and new music, and not as many people are going to care but it
Right.
happens to everybody. I mean, you look at the Rolling Stones, I don't know if you've heard their new album, but it's absolutely phenomenal. And they don't have
Yeah.
people wanting them to play that stuff in concert. I
I
think they
know.
started with 3 or 4 songs on the tour, and then they kept whittling it down. It's a
It's
shame.
amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing how music is done upside down. I mean, it just when I think about it, when I was younger, in my young days, when I went to see Led Zeppelin and all those bands back then, I was going to see them play their newest album. You know,
Yep.
not their last album. And now it's totally reversed. Everyone wants to hear the older albums, and they don't want to hear any of the new stuff. And the new stuff, it comes and then it just disappears. So there's no there's no radio stations to play it anymore. There's no record stores to sell the stuff anymore. It's just the music business is just totally upside down. So yeah, it's a strange position to be in, but like I said, I still love playing shows, and I still love the interaction with the audiences and stuff. So I continue to do what I do.
Will you be doing any of your new solo stuff on the upcoming tour? Maybe even one song?
No, no, it's an Angel tour, so it'll be Angel songs and from the mostly from the older stuff, and a couple of tracks from the last 2 albums that we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would love
yeah,
to do that.
we did do some when Punky and I first started. It was Funky Metals and Frank DiMino. We did a couple of the solo stuff. He did 2 of my solo songs and 2 of Punky's solo songs in the show. So, but we don't do that anymore. It's now it's a band, so we do the Angel stuff. So that's what it
Yeah,
is.
okay. Makes sense. I doubt Keith Richards would want Mick Jagger playing any of his solo stuff.
Right.
So we understand totally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is your first solo LP, correct? Um,
Yes. Yes.
so long time coming for you. You were
Yeah.
kind of an Angel loyalist, which is great.
Yeah.
And you put everything into that, and now you've done your own thing. I think it's nice though for your fans to just hear what you ended up coming up with, especially since it's so strong.
Yeah. 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 I think I think it was time to do something, and now I think that it's hard to get it out there, but I'm glad you heard it, and I'm glad you're talking about it. So I'm always happy to talk about it. And I look forward to doing, maybe one more. Maybe I have one more solo album coming up.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Um, let me ask. I was wondering how that experience was when you recorded The Long Night with the Prague Collective. Um, I just thought that must have been a really interesting group of guys to perform with and to record with.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. I've always kind of ventured out anyway. I did a thing for Cleopatra for a Pink Floyd thing, and I also did a Beatle thing. They did a reimagined Beatle album, and it's always nice to collaborate with other people, just to keep you don't want to get stagnant with things, and it's always great to collaborate with other people, and I started to enjoy that when I did some of those fantasy camps, those rock fantasy camps, and to do them with Alan White and a lot of different people. It was Jeff Beck was there, and you start to collaborate with a lot of different people, and it's really kind of invigorating. So I love recording with other people, listening to their ideas and making something happen that they have a vision for their certain thing, and they're asking me to do something. That's yeah, I want to help them do something with that. So yeah, I love doing that stuff.
You mentioned Alan White, And I remember,
Yeah.
the first two Angel albums having that real progressive feel. Were you a fan of Yes, or are you a fan of Yes?
Yeah, so when we first started, yeah, I mean, I think our idea was to make Angel something between like Yes, Queen, and Led Zeppelin. You know what I mean? That's where we wanted to go. We wanted to do something progressive, but a little bit more approachable, like Zeppelin-ish kind of thing, and heavy. So yeah,
Very
that
cool.
was those are some of the bands that we grew up with. So there definitely was an influence there.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Yes and a huge fan of their singer John Anderson.
I
Um,
love John Anderson. Yeah,
yeah, amazing. And it's no offense to the guys that are out there touring now, but um, I'd actually, if John wasn't able to ever come back, I'd love to hear you sing some Yes tracks. Like I'd love to have them get you in the fold for an album. I mean, maybe, I may be dreaming, but I think you would have the voice for it. Have you ever tried to sing some of those songs just, in the shower, just some of the Yes stuff, and does it fit into your range?
I did three songs, two songs with Alan. We did two Yes songs at the fantasy camp, and it was great. We did oh God, I can't remember which ones we did, but I can't remember which ones we did, but they were fun to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me move on. Let's talk about the tour a little bit. Your tour kicks off on the 13th, which is just a couple days from now. I see
Right.
you've got three back-to-back shows on the East Coast. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, three back-to-backs for the kind of vocals that you do. And how many minutes? How long is that show that you're doing?
It's a little over 90 minutes. So yeah,
Okay.
it's you're right. I prefer to do a couple of shows and a day off, but at this point, when the shows come in, I hate to say no to it, but yeah, I mean, when we were in when we just got done with the Japan thing last year, we did four shows in a row, and it was like it was tough. It's tough because with the Angel stuff, it's not just like sit back singing. It's pretty aggressive singing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got to pace myself through the show, through the set, and figure out where and where not to.
Yeah, I'm a vocalist myself, not doing what you're doing, but and I'm 65 now, and the longest I want to sing for is 2 hours with maybe a 15-minute break, and by that time I'm just out of it, and I
Yeah.
can't do it back to back. So my hat's off to you. If I was going to buy tickets to one of those shows, I'd want the first two nights.
No,
Just
believe me, the third night is just as good as the first. Trust me.
I know, I know. But it's cool that you're doing that. And then the rest of the tour looks pretty well balanced. You've got, a few shows each month, and then you come back to the West Coast and you're doing like June 6th, 7th, and 8th. One of those
Yeah,
shows, I think the 7th is at the Whiskey, which
yeah.
I wish I was in town for that, because that's just kind of a cool thing. And then I think you finish in Vegas, right? Don't you finish in your hometown? Or am I wrong?
I
No,
think I
you go
think we
back.
start. I believe we start in Vegas. For the first night is
Right.
in Vegas, then we do the Whiskey, and then I'm not sure if it's the Coach House or if it's someplace else in Northern California. But
No,
yeah,
oh, you're right. That's right. You end up though
yeah,
back on the East Coast to finish up. So I think the
yeah.
8th is on the well, how could that would be too much. That'd be a lot of
What's that?
travel trying to go West Coast, East Coast same day and do a show. Third.
The East Coast shows in June or at the end of the month. I think that's like June
Oh,
20.
that's right.
That's with Zebra and Stars, and I think we're doing another one in Maryland with Zebra and Stars, and I think we're doing a couple more shows with Ace again. So, but that's at the end of the month. The West Coast will be the beginning of the month.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah.
With a tour like that, like what's your key? What would you say to other musicians that are like in our age category and they're still playing music to stay healthy and fresh because you look extremely young. for your age, and and you're out there belting it out. I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw the recent shows with Paul McCartney where he's starting to lose his voice. Now he's
Yeah.
in his 80s now. And then you have
Yeah.
other people that are still doing it. And you're one of those guys who just hasn't lost any
Yeah.
part of the edge on your voice. So
Right.
do you have anything that you try to do to stay healthy?
I just do my exercises before I go on stage. I mean, I think it's at this point, I used to do them every once in a while in my young days, and those days are long gone. So I think it's critical now to do breathing exercises and to open up, do some vocal exercises and stuff before I go on, because at this point, it's never good to go on cold and just to start singing cold. You have to warm up and you have to open up everything before you go on. And that's the only thing that I think that's a constant that I make sure that I do. And just not, just pace yourself through it. You can't be doing a lot of screaming on every, I mean, which I never really did a whole lot of. But singing hard it still wears your voice down. So you just gotta pace yourself well, and that's all. And mainly not go on cold. Those exercises now before the show are really important.
Yeah, I mean, you guys used to open with the Tower, and now
Yeah.
that seems like a rough song to open up with. So now you're warmed up and you'll do it at the end, but that's crazy.